So on the note of what's going on in Tennessee as far as like politics and elections go, John, I think you had suggested that maybe we go back to a conversation or something we had recently about just like the extremism happening in Tennessee. I don't remember exactly what prompted this, but whatever it was, you said, "Hey, Butterfly, we should talk about Tennessee and the extremist groups," and that was all I needed to just go to town, right? So I have put together a list because I think the good people who listen to our podcast, those few who do, should know that there are some disturbing trends going on in Tennessee. And it warrants discussion. It warrants some investigation, really, as to like what's going on here. So, okay, the first one we'll start with is this group in Gainesboro, which is in Jackson County. And I would describe them as a group of Christian nationalists that are interested in creating their own little like private cities and polities or whatever. And I think we last touched on this group in our episode about farms, like the farm crisis that's going on. And this particular group, they like to consider themselves heritage Americans. Okay.
So they're indigenous?
No.
Uh,
Yeah. They're apparently like a different kind of like heritage American or whatever. And so basically what this is it was started with this company. It's this real estate company buying up land in this area with the intent to start like basically it's similar to like an intentional community or a planned community or whatever. And it's interesting because like honestly, like intentional communities are not like a new thing. Like they're kind of like it's just that these are like right-wing versions of like an eco village or whatever. And it's usually they come together around like a shared value system, particularly around like extremist Christianity and being white and like just like they just harken back to this like old vision of America or whatever before like these nasty like dirty liberals started building cities or whatever. And so just to kind of give you a little rundown, it started with this guy Josh Abatoy. He's the owner of this company called Ridge Runner. So he's 38. He's a Harvard educated lawyer. The first source I'm going to share on this heritage American community here is this article that Rolling Stone recently did, where the author of the piece went out and talked personally to the guy that started up this particular project. Josh Abatoy says there's a heavy political component to this. We don't quite advertise this bluntly, but maybe we should. Are you fed up with crime, corruption, and wokeness in your big blue city? Then move here. He says he's already sold a handful of parcels, mostly to those looking to relocate. Out-of-staters who move to Tennessee love the way it is now. They love the traditional Bible Belt feel. And sounds fine, right? So far, I guess. But then you meet his first two customers, who are Andrew Isker and Jay Engel. Both are incredibly insane. Some things to know about these two individuals are that one is a pastor from Minnesota. Some of his views are as follows. He would like to dissolve Congress and the judiciary and vest all power into a sovereign ruler named Donald J. Trump. He also has an inflammatory history of remarks about women, immigrants, Jewish people in the LGBTQ community. And then there's this other guy, Engel. I think he's the friend or partner of that Isker guy. They do a podcast together. So he has used social media to denounce democracy, declare gay people are only employable if they work on not being gay, insist America's survival is predicated on the removal of foreigners. Basically, he wants to return to the country, to how the country was before the civil rights movement, and that women were, quote, happier and lived more fulfilling lives before they got the vote. So yeah, just that's just a little bit about these people. They're insane. They're nuts. They're Christian right-wing extremists. There's been plenty of reporting on this, both by the local news outlet in Nashville, and as well as some other like independent journalists on YouTube. So they own a couple hundred acres, and they're not the only crazy people buying up land in Tennessee. Our next group is going to be a group called Patriot Front. You might be familiar with them, John. They are the khaki pants wearing mask. I don't know. They kind of look like Best Buy employees, but like with shields or something. So yeah.
Blockbuster.
Are you familiar with these guys?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay. Well, they have made their mark all over the country. But it looks like they've chosen to set up shop here in Tennessee with a 122-acre property over in East Tennessee. So a little bit about Patriot Front. News Channel 5 out of Nashville has been doing this like ongoing series on hate groups or whatever. I forget the exact name of it, but something like Hate Comes to Main Street or whatever. And they're covering like all these hate groups that keep showing up in Tennessee. And Patriot Front is one that they did a rundown on. And so they mentioned in their article here, it says, these are hardened white supremacists who want to see a white ethno-state created somewhere in the United States. Known for their flash mob protests, they suddenly spring out of the backs of rental trucks. Patriot Front members wear white gaiters to hide their faces. They are also active in plastering communities across the country with their hate-filled flyers and graffitis. We are Americans. We are not white Americans because there are no other kind of Americans than those who are white and from Europe, Russo argued in a recent podcast interview. This Russo guy, he's like one of their leaders or some shit. Patriot Front members have also been implicated in defacing murals celebrating the accomplishment of Black Americans. So, yeah, I think you get the point. These guys are no bueno. And I am going to link in the show notes all these articles that I have here because I do think it's worth everyone going and taking a deeper look at this. This is a problem. This is not normal. And I'm not even done. Okay, so the next weirdo hate group that has decided to move into Tennessee and buy land is called the Asatru Folk Assembly. They bought a 70-acre compound for a headquarters in North Spring, Tennessee, which is in Jackson County. And if you've been paying attention, you'd know that they are probably neighbors to some degree to those Heritage Americans. And I guess what makes the Asatru Folk Assembly different from the Heritage Americans is that they are more focused on like pagan religions, which kind of sucks because it just gives like people who practice pagan religions a bad name. Because like the reality is like there are plenty of people today who practice pagan religions and who are not racist, hateful bigots. So here we have an article from the Southern Poverty Law Center, and it's called How a Whites-Only Group Plans to Turn Rural Tennessee into Its Homeland. So about this particular group, members of the Asatru Folk Assembly practice an exclusively white form of pre-Christian Norse and Germanic religions that the Southern Poverty Law Center refers to as Neo-Volkish, with 31 chapters in the United States as of 2022. This group has described its core demographic as ethnic European folk, which it has defined as, quote, white people. Group representatives have stated that the AFA would deny admission to Black people because they're not of Northern European descent, as well as LGBTQ people. So yeah, you get the gist. This is just another hateful group of people who have come together in the great state of Tennessee. And yeah, so there's that. Then the next group that I think is important to look at. Now this one's a whole nother level of insane. It is called the Rod of Iron Ministries, and they are an AR-15 worshiping MAGA church. So the Rod of Iron Ministries, like I said, is they have a thing for AR-15s. They recently purchased a 130-acre compound in Granger County, Tennessee, and they are quite famous, actually. Vice did a documentary on this particular group. The Rod of Iron Ministries, also known as the World of Peace and Unification Sanctuary, is run by Pastor Hyung Jin Sean Moon, a conspiracy theorist who proclaims that his followers are at war with the deep state. The group has a growing following among MAGA supporters and Second Amendment devotees and has attracted Trump allies like Steve Bannon and former NRA spokeswoman Dana Loesch. So yeah, their shtick really is just that they basically worship all things Trump and AR-15s. And again, they own 130 acres in Granger County, Tennessee.
So do you think when he brushes his teeth in the morning that he completely misses the problem?
Yeah, I would say so.
Because I look, and I'm really biting my tongue here until we get to it, but let's say Trump achieves burning it all down. We're going to have a bunch of warring factions in our country. All these different fucking white supremacist groups are going to be at each other's throats and be at everybody else's throats. And this dude is going to what? He's going to be one of the first people they take out. He's not a white guy. And here's the deal. None of them are white guys ultimately, right? If we go back to the beginning of this country, and we talked about this when we read Nancy Eisenberger's book, that in Virginia, that the elites of that time decided, oh, let's bring on some of the poor white people because we're outnumbered by the people we've enslaved. Now we're white. No, fuck you. Yeah. And these people don't understand that they're just pawns in this fucking game.
Yeah. It's really so sad because I actually watched the documentary that Vice did on this, and these people, clear mental problem. Like, this is a cult. This is definitely a cult, first of all. Secondly, it's just totally bizarre. Bizarre is bizarre gets. And I don't understand it. But yeah, there's a lot about the Trump age that I just don't understand. So, add this to the pile.
Yeah, looking at that picture you've currently got up, if I didn't know anything else about them, I would just say he's a grifter. He's simply there to fucking make as much money off of that bullshit as he can while he can.
Yeah.
And I believe that there are a lot of people out there like that right now. I'm not saying they don't at least somewhat believe in Trump and what Trump stands for, but I don't think they all believe it the way those who are the Patriot Front, right? I don't think all of them believe it the way the Patriot Front believes it. I don't believe it the way that I don't even believe it the way JD says he believes it. I don't think he believes it that way. I think he's there for a different reason. But I think there's a lot of grifters that are just there to grab a bag of money.
Yeah. Yeah. Would you believe that this church, or whatever you want to call this, precedes Trump? In fact, are you familiar with... Oh, yeah. Like, are you familiar with... what's that guy? He's the cult expert. He's all over YouTube. I want to say his last name is Hassan or something. Anyway, he's a cult expert. He's all over YouTube. And the cult, the reason that he knows so much about a cult and now dedicates his life to talking about cults and helping people get out of cults is because he was once a part of this cult.
This cult?
Yes.
No, I'm not familiar.
The Moonies.
I'm not familiar with the name. There's a few different people that are former members from childhood of cults that I pick up on from time to time, but I'm not familiar with that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I say that, and now that I've said it out loud, I want to make sure that I'm correct. Yes, this is the same cult, what I was just showing you, but I think the cult has evolved since its founding in the 70s. Like it used to be that the current leader's father was like the founding member of this particular church or cult or whatever the hell this is, right? And so it existed in that form for many years, and then somewhere along the way the son took over, and now there's this like obsession with AR-15s.
So it's a long-term grift.
That's what it seems like. He founded the Pennsylvania based I guess arm of the church, a schismatic sect. Okay, yeah, meaning it broke off. So yeah, what I thought was correct. Okay.
Were they are
Yes.
they're a hate group?
um yeah, I guess that's sort of the interesting thing is like they're definitely like Trump supporters, and they like love their AR-15s. But if you watch the documentary that Vice did, you see that like they're not like selective about who they allow in. You see white people, black people, obviously Korean people. You see, you know, a diverse group of people, right, that are subscribing to this BS. So I don't know that it's necessarily a hate group in that sense, but
I wonder what like their founding doctrine is then, or what their pillars are.
it would be surprised. Oh, now that I think about it, when I was watching the documentary, they're definitely not LGBTQ friendly, because you'll see in the documentary that the guy's talking to some of the members of the church, and that's something that they bring up and discuss, and you see quite quickly that they are not down with the LGBTQ. So
I wonder how many of them are running from themselves.
probably a lot. Okay, so that's it for the Rod of Iron Ministries. And the next one that I found, which I found very suspicious and weird, was the New Earth Tennessee group. They are a project that aims to create a fully sovereign micronation governed by values of freedom, innovation, and conscious living, self-sufficiency, and respect for nature.
I'm gonna jump in here and say that, man, I clicked on the link to these guys. Their fucking website. It's If you are just somebody who is just kind of looking, I can see why it would grab people.
Yeah. Yeah, this one's definitely I consider it like a woo-woo kind of thing, because it's very like based in spirituality. Like that's how they, I guess, attract people. And so there's like spirituality, there's the whole like wanting to look after nature component. And so yeah, it really speaks to probably some people on the left actually could easily be taken in by this. But what I find super suspicious is that they use the words fully sovereign micronation. That sounds a lot to me like a network state.
Yeah.
Like this is some weird project of like a tech libertarian type of some kind. So, based on what I saw on the website, it looks like on the surface that this is like some kind of like spiritual organization or group or whatever. And their actual spiritual practice is called the Lazarus Initiative. And this whole thing is founded by this guy named Sasha Stone, who, from what I can tell, is basically a woo-woo conspiracy theorist. I would guess he's a huge RFK Jr. fan,
Well,
just based on
speaking
the
of,
little bit.
go ahead.
Yeah, just based on the little bit I was able, I'll be honest, I didn't spend a whole lot of time on this particular one. It's just that the sovereign micronation thing like really stood out to me, and had me like, had my like tech utopia alarm bells going off. So
So
yeah, I thought it was worth mentioning, and they have a 60-acre property in Hawkins County.
so I clicked on the link and I was checking out their website. And again, I was like, huh, that actually doesn't sound too bad.
Yeah,
This one doesn't sound like
yeah.
maybe it's all right. And I went to their about page and I scrolled down to the bottom and I found some names. And one of the names I found was Robert Kennedy Jr.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yep.
dude, that was a total guess. Okay, I knew it. I knew it. And
Yep.
look, they're even using like, look at the language here. Arise, Homo sapiens. So it's like spiritual yet scientific. Like I don't know. It's very like Elon Musk to me. Like the way that it's, I
Yeah.
guess,
Man, these
represented here.
some of these guys are fucking good. They're slick, man. They will catch people. And this
Yeah,
is, this is how people get caught, right?
yeah,
Because again, I was just clicking around and I was like, I don't understand what's bad about this.
yeah.
And I was just like, man, that's a really well put together fucking website. That's fucking nice. And then I read just a couple of little clips here and there, and it was like that doesn't sound too bad.
I think for me, I knew something was up when I ran into, and now I'm having trouble finding it, like how I even got to it. I think, yeah, I definitely went and took a look at their team members. And then I saw something about Lazarus Initiative somewhere. I think it was here somewhere that I saw that. I don't remember. But yeah, like alarm bells went off whenever I saw like all the, actually, I'm just going to go there so I can show you because it's like so obvious. The Lazarus Initiative. Once you see this, you just know this is some bullshit right here. Like, this is Sasha Stone. This is the founder of this group, right? And
Wasn't he
he's
in a
also
rock
like
band?
the leader of, I don't know, is he?
I thought I saw that on the other
He,
page on the other website that he was a
oh,
former rock star or some shit.
maybe I missed that. But
Sorry,
anyway,
I know it.
this part right here is when I really knew, okay, this is a grift. This is some BS right here. Um, they're like hawking their spiritual, I don't know, their spiritual line of memberships, I guess you could say. And it just
Everything's for
feels very
sale.
Scientology to me. But
That's
anyway,
that's that's exactly what I was thinking earlier when you were talking about it.
yeah, yeah, like it's so obviously like ridiculous here. Anyway, so yeah, that is a another, I don't know if you would call it extremist group. Like I said, I put it on here because it really screamed network state to me in the way that they use the words sovereign micronation. To me, that screams like freedom city, network state, and basically the whole agenda that these tech bros are after.
Yeah.
Um, so anyway, so there's that one over in Hawkins County. And then just quickly, I wanted to say there's also, I found evidence of this place called I don't know how to say this, Wotan's Nation near Chattanooga. It was a 44-acre property that was purchased in 2018. And as I dug into it, it looks like they made a bit of a ruckus. Maybe 2018 was a little too soon for them to be doing all this because their presence made people uncomfortable because they apparently erased all like traces of their presence from their website, from social media after local news reported on them moving in. And so I went and did a little digging on the Tennessee Charitable Organization website to see if they're still showing as like a charity, or because that's how they had like structured themselves to buy the land, was a charity. And it's showing as expired. And then I did a little more digging to see if I could maybe track down the owners of this particular, I guess, project. And I found something saying that the founders claim they no longer associate with the national socialist movement. Is that what NSM stands for? Anyway, NSM is I want to say like a white neo-Nazi type group. And I believe it stands for National Socialist Movement.
That is why we need fucking proper political education in this country, because
Amen.
words have been hijacked.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck, words have been hijacked.
Yes, they have. And so, anyway, I'll just quickly end by saying there was this one last guy that I added to my list named Sean Kaufman. You know what? Actually, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to leave it there because I think I've said enough.